Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a deleted user in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "I'm leaving my husband because I found out he has been making fun of me behind my back to his ex. My husband and I met about 6 years ago. We have been married for 1 year. When we met, I was very fit and athletic. However, I started gaining weight after suffering 2 miscarriages and losing my mother to cancer. I became very depressed and barely got out of bed except to go to work. I stopped exercising and started eating junk food. I gained 40 pounds in 2 years. During this time, my husband was very supportive and loving. I felt guilty and tried to give him an out several times, but instead he proposed and we got married last summer. Since our marriage, I have been feeling much better and it shows. I have lost around 20 pounds so far and I have regained my muscles and abs. He was so happy to see me feeling better. On his computer, however, it was a totally different story. He was talking almost throughout our entire relationship to his ex-wife about me. His ex-wife left him about 7 or 8 years ago for her colleague. That relationship didn't work out and she tried to get back together with my husband. He had already met me by then, but they stayed friends, mostly via chat and texting since she lives 12 hours away. My husband was complaining about everything about me, my job, my depression, my cooking, but mostly about my weight. He was telling her how disgusting I was to him, how he even found it hard to share the same bed since I snored like a dog. He sent her pictures of me while I was sleeping, sometimes in my underwear, with comments about my belly, double chin, back boobs, etc. She found these pictures extremely amusing and came up with the name White Whale. They both found it hilarious, and now this is what they refer to me as. They don't exactly flirt or talk about being together or starting an affair, but they do say that they miss each other and reminisce about the time they were married. She's more flirtatious and he really enjoys it. Whatever he's telling her isn't what I have experienced with him. I don't disgust him. He tells me that he loves me all the time. We have great and passionate sex, and the way he touches and makes love to me is so great that he must be a really good actor if he is, in reality, disgusted by me. He hates the few times we have to sleep apart. He's lying, and I don't know why he's doing it. He's lying to one of us, and I'm not sure if I want to know who he's lying to and why. I have decided to get out of this marriage and leave this behind me. Right now, I'm acting like everything is normal, but I have started looking for a new job in another city and a place to rent. I also started taking birth control pills in case something happens between us, and I have talked to a lawyer to prepare the divorce and start the process once I'm gone. One thing I am not going to do is fall back into depression and weight gain. I will not allow it. What a waste of love he has been. Edit. I can't believe I need to explain this about the birth control pills. Very simple explanation. Up until I went through his messages, I loved and trusted this guy. We had a great sex life and we were trying to conceive. When I read what he had written and saw the way he took pictures of me sleeping, something inside of me changed. I don't know this person in front of me anymore. I can't read his face and I don't trust him. I don't know how long I'm going to need to stay under the same roof as him. I don't know what his reaction would be if I refused him for a long period of time with no real excuse. I don't know what else he's capable of besides taking pictures of sleeping people. I don't know if I, in a moment of weakness, might succumb to lust or if he, for a moment, could fool me into thinking he actually loved me. For all these reasons and many darker scenarios I've played out in my head, I am taking extra precautions. Anyone with the intelligence of a chicken could understand that, or so I hope. Thank you everyone for the support. I will update you when I know more about where I'm headed. A deleted user said, I would suggest printing out the emails, then leaving them on the kitchen counter with your house keys and wedding band when you leave. Leave while he is not there. If that is how he wants to behave, let him see that you left him because of it. Pelo Rosado said, that must be so heartbreaking to read. How could this person act one way toward you and then turn around to speak so poorly of you to someone else? It just does not make any sense. Have you tried confronting him? To this OP said, I will not confront him. I am disgusted by his double game, and when I have everything settled, I will probably just leave him. Maybe I will print his conversation with the ex and hand it to him on my way out. Update. I do not know how to make an update, but my original post is in my profile. Sorry if I am using the wrong terminology for Reddit. I'm feeling happy, so happy for the first time in weeks, and I wanted to share that with you. Since many of you supported me and requested an update, I thought it would be the decent thing to do. So here goes nothing. I did not pry or spy on my husband. I used his MacBook to do some work, and he had forgotten to log out from Facebook and Messenger. He had never given me any reason to spy on him. After I found out, however, I would occasionally check his phone, maybe hoping that it was all a bad joke. He continued complaining, and now he was telling her I was being distant and cold in manner and that he was tired of me. He even lied and told her I was gaining even more weight, even though I am not. He told her we were not having sex because he could not find it under the roles of fatted joke that she highly appreciated. I did not spy after that. I got the confirmation I needed. In the meantime, he acted the worried husband with me, concerned about me and asking if I was going through a new depression. He told me he loved me and that he was there for me. He did everything like in previous times when I had dips, called from work, came home with takeout from my favorite restaurants, did all the cleaning and washing around the house, baked fresh bread in the mornings, brought flowers and chocolate, and asked me if I wanted to go for nighttime drives or walks. How can anyone be so two-faced? I have my big sister who lives in another city. I told her that I was leaving my husband and that I was looking for jobs in her city. My sister is married and lives with her husband and daughter in a big house. She offered me one of her spare bedrooms. I got a few job interviews and one of them turned into an offer. It is not exactly my field of work and it comes with a significant decrease in salary, but I thought about it and it is a good start until something more suitable comes up. I did not want to prolong my stay with him any longer, and a decrease in income is a good sacrifice. Plus, I am going to have a lower rent, and I am selling my car since the new job is within walking distance from my sister's house. No more worrying about the crazy gas prices. My new job starts on October 1st. I am working my notice period from my computer. The 2 months between jobs, I am just going to have fun and work on myself. I took my name off the lease, but I'm going to pay 2 more months. I left him last Sunday. The night before, I prepared a very nice dinner and I effed his brains out all night. It felt so good to hear him whispering how much he loved me and how lucky he was to have me. In the morning, I left the divorce papers and my attorney's number in the kitchen. When I got to my sister, I finally could tell her and the rest of my family about everything. I showed them all his conversations and even the pictures he's taken of me. They're all pissed at him. He has been calling and texting obsessively, but he doesn't know where I live now. Emailed DM. He went to my parents, but they just shunned him at the door and advised him to let me go. Maybe he knows now because he's been asking to explain and apologize, etc. I don't care. All I've texted back is that if he wants to convey a message, he could do it through my lawyer. Edit, my parents were divorced and both remarried. Mom passed away almost 3 years ago. He went to dad's house looking for me. Dad lives there with my stepmom and 2 of my sisters. This next post was made in the same subreddit by a user named Snoodaz. The post is titled, "My boyfriend faked a proposal, so I broke up with him. I have been dating my boyfriend Andrew for 5 years now. We have had a healthy and stable relationship up until today. Andrew has always been a prankster and makes jokes with me all the time, and I do it to him too, but today he took it way too far. In the morning, he woke me up at 7 a.m. and told me to get up because he wanted to take me to the spa. I was pretty surprised since it was not a special day or anything, but I was all in for it. At the spa, he told me how he wanted to go to a fancy restaurant after we were done and that he was paying. Of course, I agreed as we had not been out together in a long time. We then went to the restaurant, had a beautiful and romantic dinner, and just a nice time in general. We talked about a house we were planning to move into and chatted about other things too. After around 40 minutes, Andrew stood up, got on his knees, and took a box out of his pocket. My heart stopped. I had not even predicted this. We have never talked about a proposal before, but I also thought it was a great time for it now. He gave a speech about how I was the most beautiful girl in the world and how he wanted to live with me forever, ending with, "Will you marry me, my princess?" Of course, I said yes. Seconds later, all that excitement turned into horror. He opened the small box where I expected to find a ring, but inside was a note saying, "You've been pranked." And Andrew started laughing hysterically. He continued with, "Baby, this was just a prank. I'm not ready at all to marry you yet." He was leaning in to hug me, but I gave him the biggest slap ever with tears streaming down my face. I just told him, "We're over, you fucking scumbag." I am now sitting in my bed, crying and writing this, and I do not know what to do. He has been texting and calling me, but I have not responded because I feel so sad, betrayed, and mostly angry. I thought this was going to be one of the best days of my life. What should I do? Update. Thank you all so much for the love and the replies to my last post. I honestly did not expect it to get as much attention as it did, but I am very grateful for it, and it has helped me a lot. I asked the moderators of this subreddit if I could do an early update, and they allowed me to, so here it is. After I made that post, I fell asleep crying. When I woke up, I decided to call my now ex-boyfriend. I told him that it was over and that I did not want to be with someone who, after 5 years, still is not ready for marriage and would make a big joke about it. He cried and then turned angry, demanding that I stay and telling me I was a fucking asshole for leaving him like this after everything he has done for me. He cussed me out so much that I stopped listening at one point, so I do not really remember everything he said. In the end, we came to a sort of agreement that we are going to sell the house and that he will be sleeping in the guest room for now. Today, I have just been scrolling the internet for apartments so I can have a fresh start. He is still not happy about the breakup though. He is trying so hard to get back with me, saying things all day like, "Can't we be together again?" And this was just a small mistake I made. But the one that did it for me was, "Don't be so fucking petty and drop it. You know we are happy together and you know you still want me." When he said that, I absolutely lost it, called him every name I could think of, and then slammed my door. I think he also told his family about this whole situation because today I got a call from his mom telling me how selfish I was and how I couldn't handle a simple joke. It ended with her calling me a slut and hanging up. After that, I have gotten several messages from his other family members, such as his siblings, his dad, and even his aunt. I have tried to just block them all, but every now and then a new message comes through. I feel like more will happen, but the next update will probably not be for at least a week or so, as I'm going to try to sell stuff I do not need, find a new apartment, and fix everything with the house before we put it up for sale. I just want to get out of here as quickly as possible. Update 2. It has been a while since my last post, and once again, I want to thank you all so much for all the support and love. For now, this will probably be my last update. After my last post, we had constant fights for days during the evenings, and one day I decided that I had enough. My closest friend let me move in with her for now until I find somewhere else to live. I still do not know exactly what we are doing with our house, but I have gotten lawyers involved, and it is going to take quite a while. The biggest incident since I last posted is probably that I met my ex's mom in a mall and she screamed at me in public. I have never felt so humiliated. Everyone probably thought I had done something horrible as she yelled things like, "How could you do this to my son?" and "You're a terrible human being." I just walked away, but I still felt so embarrassed. Also, ever since I moved, constant messages have appeared from my ex, his friends, and his family members, and they are nasty messages. Things like, "No one would give a flying fuck if you died, you are a waste of space," or "You are such a self-centered slut, leaving your boyfriend over a small joke." I try to ignore them, but sometimes I do break down over them. This situation has also helped me learn who my real friends are, as some of my friends have turned their backs on me. This whole thing still feels so surreal to me, and it is going to take a long time for me to process it. However, if there is anything else that I need to update you on, I will. Thank you all again so much for the support. It honestly has been helping me a lot. This final post was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "My best friend proposed to me. I'm confused and mortified. Frankly, I'm still in shock that this happened, so this might be all over the place. Bear with me, all names are fake." Jordan and I met at university 2 years ago. We both started at the same time, and because of our ages, we were both considered mature students. We quickly became close friends as we shared a dorm and would joke about being old enough to be considered mature in our early 20s. We were not on the same course, but since we lived together, we hung out pretty much all the time whenever we did not have lectures. We joined a bunch of societies together, went out drinking every weekend, and so on. It was a pretty sweet arrangement because it meant we were never alone. Of course, we made other friends, both separately and together, but we were always each other's number one at the end of the day. At the moment, we are on spring holidays for Easter. While we have not hung out constantly, we decided to make plans to visit each other's hometowns since we are from very different places. Today, we went to mine, which is a big city in the center of the country. This morning, we went there and wandered down the streets, sightseeing, since he had never been. There are usually a lot of street sellers here trying to sell everything from hot dogs to fluffy Pokemon hats. I decided I wanted to get a caricature done. I have never had one and I thought it would be funny to hang over my bed when we got back for term. I asked Jordan if he wanted to join, but he refused. No worries, so I sat down to get it done. They do not take very long, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, so I just looked straight ahead at the artist the entire time. He finished the caricature and I loved it. So obviously I turned to show it to Jordan. When I turned, I literally did not even know what to say. He was down on one knee holding up a ring box. I do not even really know what he said or if he did the whole proposal speech because I was so confused that I was barely paying attention. Remember, this is a super busy tourist city, so this drew a mini crowd who came over to cheer us on. I could not help but burst into laughter. To be honest, I thought this was some kind of odd prank. We have never been prankster types, but I could not come up with a reasonable explanation. So I just laughed and laughed until I looked at Jordan and saw that he looked genuinely heartbroken. So obviously I asked him something like, "You're not being serious?" This is the only thing I remember him saying. He shut the box, stood up, shrugged, and said, "I guess not anymore." Then he walked off. This left me standing awkwardly in the middle of the crowd, many of whom were giving me dirty looks, which made me incredibly uncomfortable. The plan was to meet back at a hotel where we had booked rooms next door to each other, so I figured that was where he was going and headed back there, but he was not there. So I waited and he still did not return. I texted him out of concern at 1:15 p.m. just asking if he was okay. He responded with a long message in which he basically accused me of leading him on, asked why I did not break up with him sooner, said I had publicly humiliated him, that he thought I loved him the same way, and that he felt our relationship was strong enough to consider taking the next step. This is completely out of left field. I literally have no idea where he got this idea from. The closest we have ever physically been is a hug, hello, and goodbye. I have never even jokingly flirted with him. We have never kissed, never been on a date, never had sex. I do not find him physically attractive, and I would not want to be in a relationship with him. I do not understand where on earth he got this idea that we were together. This is not something he has ever brought up before, and I am genuinely bewildered. He has not returned to the hotel yet. I periodically knock to check, and I have been listening for him walking up the hallway or anything. Nothing. I have not responded to his long message because honestly, I do not know how to. I am just so stunned and taken aback that I genuinely have no idea where to go from here or what to do. I have not told anyone I know in person yet, mostly because I do not want to bring this up to people who know Jordan. So here I am turning to strangers on Reddit instead. What in the world do I do? Update. Jordan did not come back to the hotel. I stayed up until 1 a.m. before falling asleep and he still had not returned. When I woke up the next day, the hotel staff let me know he had checked himself out at about 6 a.m. I did end up responding to his long text. I took everyone's advice and told him that I was sorry things did not go as he had expected, but that I was not sure where he got the impression we were together. I said I would be happy to sit and have a discussion about it all so we could make sure we were on the same page. He was not happy about this at all, and he went off again with a bunch of the same things he had said in his first message. It did not really seem to be getting through to him at all. Even in these new texts, he kept referring to this as me breaking up with him, despite me explicitly telling him we are not and never have been together. All his messages were very clear and coherent, even if what he was saying was not based in reality. He was not sending paragraphs, just sentences in really quick succession, which was blowing up my phone. He told me he did not want to meet up with me to talk because I had ripped out his heart and crushed it in public. I asked him for specific instances he could recall between us that made him think we were dating, but he completely ignored the question and just kept going on about how hurt he was that I was breaking up with him and how he felt his world was ending. He said he loved me more than anything and had felt so confident that I did too, which is why he felt so certain about proposing to move our relationship along. Eventually, to be honest, I grew pretty tired of the conversation and stopped responding because it was just going around in circles, me asking where he got this idea, him ignoring it, and telling me how hurt he was that I was breaking up with him, and so on. He went on and on saying he thought it would be a ring I liked because it was my favorite gem, ruby, instead of diamond. He said he had been working up the courage to propose for a while and figured doing it when I was at home would make it more special. For a while, he was just talking to himself in my text because I was not responding anymore. When I checked back about 20 minutes later, I had something like 60 messages from him. Granted, they were all single sentences. At the very end, he apologized and told me that it did not matter anyway because I would not see him around anymore. Obviously, I was concerned, so I asked for clarification. He said that he was going to drop out of university and go back home because he could not deal with the shame. That is where our conversation ended. I did not really know what to say to that. As it stands now, I do not really know where Jordan is. I did not ask him, which is my mistake. I am not sure if or when we will talk again. I am sorry, this is quite a boring update. Unfortunately, I cannot excite everyone with a story like, and then he turned up at my door, or and then he sent me flowers, or anything like that. It feels like a lot is unanswered. I still do not know where he got the idea we were dating, and he has not explained that. So I am sorry I cannot give everyone that answer. I have not reached out to his family yet. I did consider it, but if he is not having a mental health crisis, I do not really want to involve them unnecessarily. Update 2. So adding on, a lot of people said I should ask our mutual friends if he has ever brought this up before or ever suggested we were dating. All of the people I've asked, granted it was only 5, said that they have no clue and that he has never mentioned it before now. I do not know if this is something he has newly started thinking about or if it has been a long-term belief. Either way, I have also screenshotted all of his texts just in case. Reading back on them with a slightly less confused mindset, they seem pretty manic. I still have not heard back from his mom yet. Hey, I'm not dead. I'm back at my parents' house at the moment and will be staying here until school picks back up instead of traveling around. It's nice to be home anyway. Update 3, I'm still doing okay and hoping this will be the last update I need to make. I did say I wasn't going to make another update unless something significant happened. That's why it's been a week, so I'm sorry for the silence. Following my last update, Jordan's mom messaged me back on Facebook that same day. We chatted for a while. She's a really nice lady. She agreed that this was incredibly out of character for Jordan, and she mentioned a few other things she had noticed as being off about him in the last few weeks. Nothing extreme, just little things here and there she had never known him to do or say. I spoke with her at length about Jordan's mental health and the possibility of psychosis. She told me there is a history of mental illness on his dad's side, including a paternal uncle's suicide, but she doesn't know much about it because they haven't spoken in quite a long time. Our conversation lasted about an hour. I showed her Jordan's texts and she agreed that they sounded quite manic regardless of how coherent they were. A lot of people also asked if he had told our mutual friends and acquaintances that we were dating. I messaged our mutual friends, our dorm mates, and so on, and they all basically said they had no idea what I was talking about, so it seems he has just been having these thoughts by himself without expressing them. I don't know how to get in contact with his close friends that we don't share, so I can't really ask them. Anyway, for a few days that was it, until yesterday evening, which is where the big and possibly positive update comes in. I got word from Jordan's mom that he had been detained under section 136 by the police. For anyone not from the UK or who, like me, doesn't know what that is, from what I can tell, it basically means he was suffering from an obvious mental health disorder in public with behavior concerning enough that he was considered a danger to himself or others, and the police thought he needed immediate and urgent care. What I know from here is pretty minimal. I'm not sure where he was taken, but his mom said he would be there for the day while they performed a mental health assessment. She said he had been out in the streets yelling about things she didn't specify what and intimidating other people. He was throwing things around and generally causing a lot of trouble. The police were called because people thought he was drunk. They established he wasn't, and that's all I know. His mom and I talked again, and we both assumed that mental health issues or psychosis are likely. The rejection of the proposal probably set him into a downward spiral over the last few days, bringing us to where we are now. I do feel pretty awful about that. I'm doing my best not to blame myself, but it's hard not to feel like I caused it. Either way, he is currently with police and mental health professionals, likely being assessed. I don't know how the system works, so I'm not sure what will happen beyond this point. If someone with more knowledge wants to chime in, please do. I'm hopeful though that this will mean Jordan will be able to get some help for whatever he is currently dealing with. My hope is that I won't need to update again, and this can end here. I have yet to speak to the university about the situation. I'm not really sure how or if I should approach that, so I'm leaving it be for now. This has been a whole lot of emotions, and I really appreciate the help of everyone on my last 2 posts. Again, I won't update again unless something major happens, but I highly doubt I will learn much more. Thanks again, everyone, and thanks for following along. It's been really reassuring to have this support and people with a much more understanding than I have to help me. Aquatic Stoner said, well, it is good that he is getting the help he needs. I wonder where they will go from here and if they will ever be friends again. Either way, this was the best possible outcome. A deleted user said, maybe this makes me sound like a terrible person, but in a way, I am glad for OP that it really was a mental health episode and not the friend sincerely believing he could pressure and gaslight her into marrying him. There are a lot of alpha males and dating coaches who try to teach men how to manipulate women into a relationship. I know someone in real life who believes in that stuff, but I am still sorry for him as well as his mother. The nature of my job has me around psychiatric patients, and they have a long journey. I hope he comes out of this okay. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersubs. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.